Today I will be taking your session in RFM analysis. So just giving you a brief before sharing the screen, that what we will be doing in this session is that we will be figuring out that what RFM analysis is. So I have developed a pack very dedicated to marketing and how it is useful from the essence of marketing. So we will be seeing that how marketing analytics and how RFM analysis has been applicative into marketing domain. And we at the starting we'll have a brief introduction regarding the RFM analysis, and towards the end we will deploy it. We'll see that how it actually works using the CellStrat platform. Apart from that, if any questions, if any query comes from the descriptive part, you can always raise your hand and we can have a discussion. Other than that, in the deployment part, we'll be making sure that you are able to do the analysis on the CellStrat platform. So I will be sharing my screen first. Let's discuss about the RFM analysis, that what basically it is and how it works. Just a moment.
So, Hani, you are pursuing a doctorate at IIT Delhi, am I right? So, Department of Management Studies.
Yes. So I'll just give a short description about my domain. So
Sure.
my name is Hani Yadav. I'm pursuing a PhD from IIT Delhi in telecom management. So basically, my area is dealing with big data analytics. I also have been an experience in teaching digital marketing courses in IIT Delhi, the executive programs. So specifically, I take the domain of consumer analytics and how we can use the analytics part, figuring out are different aspects of consumers. And I also teach the MBA students or the forthcoming executive managers in this domain that how to use and implement analytics with the very specified form of consumer insight. So this is a short description what I do in IIT. Apart from that, I have an experience of doing engineering and then having a MTech. I also have an experience of teaching for 1 year and doing a project as a project engineer in Wipro. But so now I'm basically pursuing my PhD, and apart from that, I also do a part-time teaching assistance in IIT. So this is something about me. So just a moment, I will be sharing my screen just to make sure that you are visible to the PPT. Okay, just a moment. So just a moment, I just need to, because of the, I think it's recording, so my PC is just asking some relevant information. So Vivek, I need to just rejoin again because as we will be recording the screen, I need to just quit and reopen.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
You can rejoin. So let's wait for our presenter to come back. So those of who joined later, so we are CellStrat. We are an AI platform company, and we have a very large community of AI researchers and product developers. And you can try our platform CellStrat. So that's the platform we'll be using for the workshop today. So okay, so Hani, try to share your screen.
Yeah. So is my screen visible now?
Yes, it has come up.
Yeah. So first, we'll start discussing that why we are talking about RFM analysis, basically in the domain of marketing analytics. So marketing as a forte in itself is very much different than we thought as a sale transaction. So marketing is not just about focusing on what kind of transaction your organization or your company is getting through. Marketing is much more deeper regarding the fact that how your customer is behaving, and how your customer, basically how you segment your customers, how you target your customers, how you want to position your organization in front of that customers. So analytics now, with the emerging digitalization, and now we are seeing so much of data coming, and most of the data coming as from the customers, we are now able to extract valuable insight and patterns in from that consumer data. So that is the reason that the emerging area of analytics has a wider applications in marketing domain. So if I talk about RFM analysis, RFM analysis is basically very focused about the only three parameters of consumer, that is the recency, frequency, and the monitoring. So why I would say that marketing analysis is very different from a sales perspective is because of the fact that in marketing, if you see the pack that I have developed from the marketing perspective try to figure out different aspect of the consumer. So when we have a digital marketing campaign, or when we want to do a segmentation of our customers, when we want to target for a specified segment of our customers, we use these analytics tool to identify from the customer data what kind of segmentation and what kind of profilation of customer I can get. So it is basically, when we talk about marketing analytics, it is very much focused about the fact that whatever analytics, whatever machine learning, whatever deep learning models I could use to figure out that how my customer is behaving. Even the if you see the Google Analytics platform, it does the same thing for you. So when you see that kind of platform, you are actually trying to figure out that how your customer is behaving. But with the advent of advanced machine learning algorithms, now you are able to extract that information very more precisely. So when I talk about the RFM analysis, it is a very targeted thing where I am trying to figure out that how my customer can be segmented using only three parameters. And from the literature and from the research, it has been proved that the customer, so it is very obvious. So I will give an example. When you go and buy something from Amazon, and let's say that you bought a product and you are not satisfied with the product and you want a refund, but you have consumed the product or you have used the product and still you are not satisfied with that product. Sometimes what happens is that you file a customer complaint and you said that you are not satisfied with the product, or you are not able to use it, or you are not finding it adequate to pay that much amount. So the moment you file a complaint into these into an Amazon desk, your profilation come to the Amazon that how valuable you are for them. So that is the most important parameter for an organization to realize, to see that they are not losing their loyal customers. They are not they are not going to give away the customers that are really giving them the largest valuable input for their organization. So if I am going to buy, if I am a regular customer on Amazon, I'm buying very frequently from Amazon, and I'm also buying very, I'm an active customer with the Amazon, and I buy a lot of a good average amount of monetary value from the Amazon don't really want to lose me. That's a valuable input I'm going to give Amazon towards my lifetime value. So in this pack, or in this marketing analytics, you will find several analysis which is going to give you insight very particular about your customer. So when I talk about recency, frequency, and monetary models, what they are doing here is that we are trying to figure out that if a customer is buying from you very recently, if the customer is buying from you very frequently, recently means that I'm not a dormant customer. So might possible I like Amazon last year or 5 years back, and I was very happy with the customer, with the Amazon service, but after some time I am not going to be that regular or be that active with the Amazon. I might switch to Flipkart. So recency gives me the parameter where I'm sure that I'm an active customer. I'm an active customer within the organization. And when we talk about the frequency, it tells that how loyal I am towards that organization. So if I'm buying something, for let's take an example of lifestyle accessory, if I'm buying very regular, very frequently with the H&M, so that means that I like them, I am a loyal customer for them. So a frequently buying behavior of my will make me a potential customer for H&M. And the monetary value decide that what value I have towards that organization. I might be buying, let's say my average transaction with the H&M might be crossing 5,000 or 10,000, or that might be less. But here the point is that it is very essential to figure out that what segmentation of customer is getting transaction with me. So RFM analysis is a very three-dimensional way of classifying or ranking your customer. With the machine learning or with the analytics, you are able to classify your customers into a very specific segments. So these are not just the random assumptions I'm making. This is a very precise segmentation I'm doing on the basis of the transactional history of the customer. So the moment the moment I'm making the transaction with Amazon or H&M website, all my transactional date, my order ID, my what item, what quantity I'm buying, this is getting recorded. This is the transactional data our organization have for their customers. Now the point is that how to use that transactional data, how I can figure out that which customer is going to be more valuable for me and which customer is going to, it's not happy with me and they might churn out, they might leave my product or service, and I might want to target them, I want to retain them. So when I talk about recency, R is the date of the user's last transaction. Where I am very, where recency is a very very specified date of the user's last transaction. That is the only way I am assuring the fact that the user is not a dormant transaction, is not a dormant customer for my organization or for my product or service. And if I talk about the frequency, frequency is defined as the count of financial transaction or the user conducted within the period of interest. So basically the RFM analysis we do is targeting for, let's say I'm taking the transactional history from last 5 years, or I'm taking the transaction of last 2 years, because I'm more interested to find out that it might be for last 6 months as well. So I'm more interested to find out from the last 1 year how many customers are very frequent, what are the loyal segment of customer. Might be I'm going to give a promotional scheme for a customer and I want to just target the loyal part of my customers. I want to give some promotional offers to the loyal segment of my customers, so that that segment remains intact with my product or service. So the monetary value also give me a very valuable insight. So this is not an assumption that I'm making towards the customer behavior. This is something very definite for my customers. So for the monetary, I know that this much value this customer is bringing to my organization, and I might target that customer for a new product that I'm going to launch for my organization. So for example, if Sabyasachi is going to collaborate with H&M and H&M want to do the targeted marketing campaign where H&M only want to focus the high monetary value customers, H&M knows that the potential of those customers to buy a Sabyasachi collection is more. So in that case, what I will do is I'll segment those customers on the basis of monetary, and I'll try to target those customers who are going to give me, who have the potential to buy my whole new category of product depth. So that is something how RFM analysis can be used. And in the context of marketing analytics, it is very important to understand that it is not just about that what your analysis is giving you the output. It is much more implicative in nature. It is more applicative. So the results you get, it's only will give you the broader categorization. But what kind of strategy you are making for those customers, for what kind of strategy, what kind of valuable input you are developing within your organization, that is very important. So let's say, many people, when they do a digital marketing campaign, they try to figure out that they are very confused that how much to spend into a marketing campaign, how much to spend on a Facebook marketing, how much to spend on a Google ad, knowing the fact that they are not actually making a loss. Here the point is that this marketing analytic pack will give you that few metric insight on which basis you can decide that how much and what amount you should spend in acquiring a unique customer. So the customer lifetime value is also a pack that we have in the marketing analysis, and that is a one metric that you see, and that is also implicative in RFM analysis. So once you get a profilation of your loyalty customers, you can also try to figure out that what is the customer lifetime value that loyal segment of customers is giving you. So what is the customer lifetime value is? This is a prediction that if I am a unique customer, let's say H&M or let's say Zara I'm not a transaction, I'm not a customer of Zara. And Zara somehow do a targeted marketing to acquire me as a customer for their organization. And the moment I become a one-time transaction with Zara, I do my transaction with Zara, becoming from a unique customer to a customer, that is where the Zara will predict that how much lifetime value I can give to Zara. In whole my life, if Zara is able to acquire me, then how much in whole my life I can give, I can, really be valuable towards Zara. And that is where the whole concept of how much you are actually investing into your digital marketing campaigns come into the picture. That is the reason the RFM metric, the of your previous customer, the lifetime value of your customer is very important to figure out, to make sure that how much you are investing in your future marketing campaigns, or how much you are even investing on your customers into your future. So the recency, frequency, and the monetary value are very easy to calculate and understand. But also you have to make sure that in this analysis, you are only targeting the three aspects of your customers. That is the recency, the frequency, and the monetary value. So whatever segmentation you are going to get into this, that is only be dependent upon the three aspects of the customers. So you can't actually find out that what is a general profilation of your customers. So let's say I can't say that the customer is a, what are the socio-cultural analysis of a customer. That is a very different category where I want to find out about my customer. But here what I could say that this is a loyal customer because this customer is buying from me actively, buying from me very frequently, and it is giving me a good it is giving me a high monetary value as well. So this is the simplest term I could explain the RFM value. If a customer have a high RFM value, that means the customer is a very loyal, a potential customer toward my organization, and that customer is that customer I want to make sure that it is satisfied. And the last category of my customer, that would I say that the customer who are about to get out of my or of my product experience, that is the customer I want to target to retain. That is the customer I want that customer should not leave my product or a service. So in this slide you will see when we see customers data, when you see a transaction data, it is much more into a very all customers information are into a very one cluster forms. So the main challenge in marketing when you come into customer analytics, the main challenge is to segment, target, and position yourself. So when you do different kind of machine learning algorithms, you deploy just to make sure that you are segmenting from this whole customer big data. So I'm not here suggesting that once you enter into an organization, this data is really very big. So for an organization, this is something that they need to be very sure that what insight you are going to get them for for their customers, and it is very valuable as well. If you are going to tell your organization and you can tell a person that this is the 20% of your organization, this is the 20% of your customers that are very loyal to you, and you need to make them satisfied. The organization can really save a lot of money, rather pouring that money into all of their customers, rather just pouring that money to the 20% of the customers, because they want to really satisfy and they want to really do the targeted marketing and all the promotional campaign to the top 20%. That is the most important customer for them. So this is the one application part of the RFM analysis that we will perform today. And if I say that there are different terms that you can give, so we can also we are also able to segment our customer on the basis of that they might be a detractors, they might be hesitant, they might be loyal, they need attention, potential loyalist, promising. So this is the segmentation that you do. You might find out, your organization or your manager might need to know that how many category, what are the customers who are potential loyalists. So just let's say I'm just making sure that the customers who are very buying with me very frequently from last 2 months, and let's say from the 6th month, if this frequency of a customers are going down, so the second segment, the going down frequency might be the potential loyalists that I want to really target. And the top might be the loyalists that are already, they are very good, they are very happy with my service, they are doing the transaction, they are frequently buying from me. So that is the way we segment them, we call them, we want to target them. It depends upon the fact that what kind of objective you are looking upon. Are you looking upon to retain your customer? Then you will be more interested towards the end of the bar chart, towards the end of the segmentation. How much your customer are not satisfied with your product, or they are, how much is the percentage that is that the frequency is really going down, the monetary value is also going down, and the the recency is also not much updated. So that is the way you really segment your customers using this. So why it is necessary, that already we discussed that we can use it as a target marketing strategy. We can focus a very segmented part of a customer, where I'm not pouring my amount in doing a campaign or doing a marketing campaign into rest all of my customer. Rather, I'm very doing a targeted marketing campaign. So it is very much valuable for digital marketing as well, because in digital marketing you really don't want to do, or you really don't want to pour money into every channel. So you don't want to do Instagram marketing as well as Facebook marketing, as well as the LinkedIn marketing. You really want to know that what kind of customers do give you the maximum value, and what you can reverse it. You can find out that how you actually get those customers. So digitalization has this advantage, that you can really track down the whole journey of your customer, and that is why the analytics is very much valuable into the customer data. So the second is you can increase the conversion rate. Obviously, when you are very targeting very segmented part of your customers, when you are targeted very high monetary value of a customers, the potential of those customer buying your product is very much high. So the conversion rate is very much high. That is going to make transaction with your organization, increase revenue and profit. That is the ultimate outcome of increased conversion rate, and as well as personalized conversion rate. So you can personalize your marketing campaigns, where you are really trying to figure out that, okay, these are the customers you want to retain. So in the way, when you are doing a very targeted campaign where you want to retain your customers, you will try to find out that what are the problems they are going through, what is the main challenge, that why are they, what is the main reason why are they leaving your product or service. And that is where the personalized conversion rate comes into the picture. Better segmentation of customers. The one thing that I have learned about teaching digital marketing or consumer analytics, it's all about the more precise segmentation you can do for your customer data. The more precise way you can tell your organization about the characteristics of your customers, the more valuable valuable insight the organization can figure out about their customer. So if I can tell that these are the customers who possess certain traits, certain same characteristics as you are going for your product launch, that will give you a increased conversion rate, as well as that will give you a high chance here that your product will be accepted. So the whole battle is around that. The more better segmentation you can do, the more value you can generate. Apart from that, improved customer relationship management. As I told that the moment you call Amazon and you say that you are not satisfied with the product, you want your refund, even though you have consumed their product or service. The challenge here comes with the organization, that do they give you the refund or not. And that's where this segmentation gives you the edge to find out that what category the customer is falling into. If I am falling into the category of loyal customers, they might refund my money because they don't want to lose me. They don't want to bring a sense of dissatisfaction into my mind. So that is something that how you actually use it and apply it into the real world, into your organization, or into your way of analyzing customer. Apart from that, the way we are going to perform RFM analysis is very simple. It is the first basic way we are going to find out that how to segment your customers, or to have a very big amount of customer data, customer transactional data, and then to segment them into various category on the basis of RFM score. Is the first step is building the RFM model to assign the recency, frequency, and monetary values to each. So we are going to calculate and we are going to identify the recency, the frequency, and the monetary value. So just think that if you want to find out the recency, what you will look at. The recency will only be given by you if you have the transactional date of your customer. So in the transactional data, you have thousands of variables. But here for the RFM analysis, what you are really focused upon, that you want the customer data In that, you want to calculate the recency, and the recency will be given by the fact that how recently the customer has done the transaction with me. That is the date, exactly the date of the customer transaction. Other parameter is you are looking at the frequency. So you want the customer IDs, because every customer ID is unique for a customer. So the moment if I do a transaction in 1 month, let's say 50 times, so my customer ID will appear 50 times on the transactional data. So that is very unique. That is only assigned to me. Apart from that, the third parameter you want to look at the monetary, and how you are going to calculate is that how much value, what kind of transaction I'm doing. So for, let's say, the one transaction I'm doing for 1,000 rupees, and again then I'm doing for 2,000 rupees, and then again for 5,000 and 8,000. So the total monetary value, let's say in the last 6 months, I will be given towards in organization, that will be calculated under the monetary value. So that will be given by the what the monetary value with the respective order ID and with the respective date of transaction that I'm doing towards an organization. That is the three parameters we are really interested into, because on the basis of this we are going to calculate the RFM score. And once in the second step, so the module that we will be using is the pandas and the date time. So date time will be used to actually calculate from the transactional date and the numpy. So in the step 2, what we will do is we will calculate the recency, the frequency and the monetary value. Hence we will try to figure out that how many customers will have a particular recency value, a particular frequency value and a particular monetary value. Once we have the RFM value, what we are going to do is we are going to make one single RFM score. So how we can do it? Just imagine it like there are three different segments or three different parameters you are going to get for one customer. Now you are going to combine it into one RFM score. So the RFM score will really help you. The higher the RFM score, the higher the recency, the higher the frequency and the higher the monetary value, that will be the loyal customer. And the 20% you will find out, and then you will divide it according to the quartile, trying to figure out that what are the excellent customer or the loyal customer, then what are the good customer, that is the semi margin or the potential loyal customer, and might be what are the bad customers. So here we are only going to look about the three category, that is excellent, good and bad. You can also do it, you can also personalize this as you want to do the segmentation of your customers. So then we are going to divide it excellent, good and bad customers. So on the basis of the quartile or on the basis of the RFM score the customer generate for let's say my RFM score comes 12, that means I'm an excellent customer. If my RFM score comes 4, that means might be a bad customer. So this is the way we are going to figure out that, and we are going to divide our customer into the three categories, and then we will look upon that how valuable it can be and how your customer data can transform, your basic transactional customer data can transform into much valuable, where you can really find out the respective characteristic of the customers. So this is something that your final output will look upon. So as I told that we will be calculating the RFM score. And on the basis of that scores, we will classify the respective quartiles. So the R quartile, the F quartile, and the M quartile. And then we will try to fit the quartile into the class. So this will be the RFM class. And the total score of the RFM class will just give you the labeling for your customers that you will label excellent, bad, or good. So this is how we are going to calculate the RFM class, and then respectively total score of this RFM class. So regarding the CellStrat platform, one thing that...
There's a question, Honey, on the chat.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I just a moment, I'll just look. Yeah. So the question is, do we have a weighted average as well in RFM? Like, can we give particular average to single parameter to category? Yes, we can do. So if you want to really you are really interested into high monetary customers, so you can give a weighted average to a monetary value. So you are really interested into figuring out that what are the customers giving you a high monetary value, so you give a let's say 50% weightage to the monetary value, and in that way you are going to find the excellent customers on the basis of the monetary value only. So the more weightage will be given to the monetary value. Is it does it define your answer, Rishi?
Yeah, honey.
Yeah.
It's yours.
So it
Thank
it
you.
it really customizable. So if I am interested into more active, like let's say if I am more interested into only the active customers, so I might be only interested into the recency parameter. That is very much applicative into the telecom domain. So in the telecom, what happens is that they really want to make sure that the churn rate is very less. So if I have a sim of Vodafone, the more important parameter they want to look at upon is I'm not leaving their subscription, I'm not leaving their service. So they are really more interested into the fact that my recency, what my recency score remains. So it depends upon what business you belong from. Might possibly you belong from a banking sector. In banking sector, they are very much interested into the churn rate. So although there are in this pack you are seeing in the marketing analytics, you will see a ANN based churn prediction model as well. Apart from that, this is also one way you can predict the churn. You can find out that what is the category of the customers who are going to really leave your service or your product. So in the marketing analytics, in the CellStrat, one advantage you get is that you really don't want, you can use this platform as on go, and you can really put on the data, and you can analyze your data, and you can analyze your customer data, and you figure out that how valuable your parameters are, and how value is generated from that customer data. Apart from that, in this module, you will find out various analysis, for example, the cohort analysis, the market basket analysis, the sales prediction, the customer personality analysis, the segmentation, the lifetime value prediction. So these are see, there are two aspects of customer analytics. One aspect is that you are doing a quantitative analysis, where now the customer analytics or the machine learning and the deep learning algorithm has really given the edge for that. So when you do the quantitative analysis, the most edge you are getting here is with the advancement of machine learning, you can really find out the valuable insight. So these are the quantitative parameters that you can find out about your customers. The other aspect is the qualitative aspect of your customers. So the qualitative aspects really is done by the qualitative kind of research. So where you take a segment, take a sample of your customers, you do a survey, you went to your customers and you try to talk to them, and you then have a conversation, have an interview with your customers, try to figure out what kind of perception your customer is having towards your brand. So the machine learning and the analytics come into the picture more of a quantitative way to analyze your customer data. And sometimes this give you a very remarkable insight when you want to target your customer. And the most specific part is the segmentation. So it really helps you to segment your customers. So if we can start with the actual deployment of the model, one thing that you want to make sure
Yeah,
that
there are some more questions on chat. And meanwhile, I have sent instructions about CellStrat Hub login process.
okay, so let me just make sure that why this is not okay.
Yeah, it might have timed out. You may have to restart the workspace.
Yeah, I'm just going to.
So there are two questions on the chat.
Just a moment, I'm just going back with the questions. Yeah. Do we, okay, is this model similar to P2B model, propensity to pay, where we track fraud customers in telecom? See, when we track fraud customers in telecom, we are really, so again, you are trying to figure out the fraudulent part of your customers, right? So that is a very different characteristics you want to find out. So the fraudulent part is where the customer is not, it's lying to you. So the characteristics that you will see Might be you will try to find out that how much complaint the customer is making and how many times it has been genuine in the, in the course of time. But in the RFM analysis, the main goal is to find out the loyal category of your customers. So many of the time, the RFM analysis is mostly used to find out the loyal category. Rather, it is used to figure out the bad category of the customers, because the bad category of the customer or the experience the customer is not satisfied with your product or is a fraudulent depends on other variables as well. So in the churn prediction or in the fraud detection model, you will try to covariate different parameters. For, let's say, in the credit card fraudulent, you try to figure out that what is the age of the customer, how many times the customer is able to pay the proposed EMI, or the amount he has to pay. So that is a very different characteristic we are looking at, and in the fraud, in tracking the fraud customers. So here the RFM analysis is much more useful, where you want to present a dashboard and where you want to really present your manager regarding a fact that how your targeting marketing campaign should go, and how your customer relationship management are going through. So are your loyal customer are satisfied with your product or service? Are you are doing a very targeted campaign for to retain the customers who are not satisfied with your product? Or let's say a organization has just, I'm just started doing a transaction with the organization, and now the organization really want me to start increasing my transaction or start becoming a regular customer with that organization. So they might try to give me some offers, give me some extra percentage off, how they decide to give for a customer on the basis of these analysis, on the basis of trying to figure out that how recently the customer has joined my organization and what kind of frequency that is making, and what is the monetary value the customer is giving me. Is the frequency is low, do I want to increase the frequency? So that is something that I really want to, how I really use this analysis. So Ajay, does it satisfy your query?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So another question I am seeing is how RFM model helps in corporate hospital industry. In the hospital industry, I would say that hospital is mostly a service industry, right? So when you say that, let's say a customer is, or I would rather use a word, a patient is coming to your hospital, and some kind of service you are giving to your patients. um I wouldn't say that this can be one thing you can do is how you can use it, that what kind of service that customer experience from you at which date. And then you can figure out that the 20% or the top level of customers might be the people who are very much satisfied with your service, and the next or the bottom line of the segmentation will be the one who is not satisfied with your service. So if you are really that hospital and you really want to make sure that your service satisfy your patients, you might make sure that who are not satisfied or who are not coming to your hospital, you can target them and you ask them that why they are not satisfied with your service. So it is applicable to service and product both. It's just the matter of fact that how you have to realize that what analysis is giving you and how you are going to use it and how you are going to target them. So I will be just doing, let me just stop sharing, might be that help. So Santu, does it address your query?
हाँ ये तो बाईपास है ना, ये बाईपास से जहाँ बढ़ जाती है, ये घुमा के बनाती है ना।
So I'll just figure out, I'll just first start the platform. Yeah.
So I have sent instructions on chat what we have to do for the hands-on part.
Okay.
If anybody has any questions about hands-on, how to log in into CellStrat Hub, let us know. So I was actually able to run the RFM program in marketing pack
Okay,
completely. So it ran fine for me.
okay. Then just I don't know why it's taking some time. It's showing pending.
It takes 2 minutes to start your workspace. That's fine.
Okay.
It can take 3 minutes sometimes. So when all of you start the workspace, but you have to check out the marketing pack before you start the workspace. If it is starting, you'll need to stop it before it allows you to check out the pack.
Yes. So
It takes
anyone?
about 3 minutes to start the workspace. So, Honey, are we seeing increasing use of artificial intelligence for marketing analytics?
Yes, for sure, because of the fact that the more precise now the precision with the AI and the precision with the way. So, one example in artificial intelligence, I would say the recommendation engine. So, we also have a recommendation engine. So, the point is that the moment I want to buy something as a customer, we all, when we want to buy something, the moment I go to a website or the moment I go to a Google. Like a Google page, the point, the whole struggle begins with the fact that how to target me, how the organization, how the specific company can target me to do the transaction with them. So with the recommendation engine, with the advanced chatbots, now the process has been really seen and enhanced rate. So with the income with the recommendation engine, the organization are seeing 4 to 6% growth into their transactional data. So that is something that if a AI or if a model can give you the precise prediction what you really want to buy. So the moment you go to Amazon and you see the recommendation based on your past history of transaction, the model is really trying to predict that how accurately and what will be the next thing you want to buy. And if the model is if one transaction or one item it can propose to you where which you do the actual transaction, it is a like it is something a person that an organization might hire investing a amount will be much more valuable than having a model working 24/7 in just making the prediction. So how many transaction, if one transaction as well, that is a profit for the organization. So yes, AI is very much transcending the way we used to understand our customers, the way we used to interact with the customers. So now I think I'm able to start. I'll just share my screen. And I suppose that everyone is ready with the CellStrat and they are able to log in and they are able to have the marketing pack.
So, are you saying every MBA candidate in marketing need to learn Python programming now?
If I would say that they really want to go into very into the domain of digital marketing, or let's say into the domain of consumer analytics, yes, they will require this. They will require the basic knowledge of Python, the basic knowledge of how these models are working. Even if your team represent you a dashboard, you need to you need to understand how the model is working, because that's where, if you don't know what is the RFM analysis, how would you predict that what your model or what your dashboard is showing to you, right? So you need to understand that how these model and what are the possible Python applications or machine learning application you can see into the marketing or customer data. And most of the part of the big data is customer data. If you see the research and if you go with that studies, most of the big data that is floating around everyone or is the customer data. So all the tweets you are doing, all the digital imprints you are you are leaving behind when you access a website, when you access a Google search engine or Instagram. That is all big data is all about. And the challenge is the company who is able to extract valuable information from that data will be the one who will get a competitive advantage, who will be the top one to understand the customers. The whole journey of Amazon is only based upon the fact that they were able to analyze their customer data very, very precisely, and that's what make them the top notch in a very short duration of time. And now the Amazon is competing Google in, for that matter of fact. So the text mining, the NLP, the topic modeling, you will see very much into a very applicative form. When you go to the customer reviews, you see that one topics are floating on the customer data, right? On the customer reviews. That is the implication of topic modeling. And the way you just see that what are the reviews of a product, you see the product is good, you buy, you make the transaction. That is what the Amazon is facilitating you. So with the it is much more the application of the machine learning rather just having a model, or how you implement that model is very important. So I believe that you will be, my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes.
So we will be starting with the RFM analysis. I hope that you are able to open your dashboard and you are seeing this. You are able to open the packs, and in the packs you will find a marketing pack. And in the marketing pack, you have to just open the RFM analysis. So if any problem comes till here, please let us know. So this is the sample data set that we are seeing here. So as I told in my presentation that you don't require all the transactional data. So the moment you ask a transactional data, the transactional data will have a lot of variables. The only variables that you want to focus upon for the RFM analysis is the total monetary value, the grand total, the order ID, that is the customer ID, and the customer name. That is also, you can, if you want to really want to specify or highlight the customer details, this you can skip as well, but if it is there, so it is very relevant. And the order date. So these are the parameters, these are the data set, or these are the specified transactional details you need for the RFM analysis. And as you are looking that this data set is this is a 30,000 transactional details of a customer data or a transactional data. And if you see, this is very vague. So if I'm seeing this data, there is nothing relevant I can see. It is all numbers and names I could see. And if my manager asks, or if my team really want to build insight with this data, I really want to make sure that what could be done in this. So very importantly, you need to make sure that what analysis you are focusing upon, and do you have the feasibility to get the data. So transactional data is very common with the organization. With the digitization, every organization now is recording the transactional data with their customers. So you can get fairly this data easily, and you can build this model. So I suppose that we can start with the implementation of the model. So everyone shall open this RFM analysis module. So one thing that we are seeing is that with the platform of CellStrat, what I like about is the fact that now only thing I require is the data set, right? So I have the model that is prepared, and now I really want is the data set that I need to report, or where I need to build insight. So we'll start with the reading of the data. We'll import the libraries, and then we'll read the data. And if anyone have or experience some problem in reading the data set, please let me know, because that's where after that I don't think that the model will give you any problem. So any query regarding this? Everyone is able to do it? So again, the first thing that we are here, we are more focused upon that, seeing that what kind of head, or what kind of, just to have a glimpse of our data set, that what kind of data set we really want to look upon. So we are looking upon an order date, we are looking upon order ID, the customer details, and the grand total. That's what we discussed that we will require for this analysis. Again, now we will import the date time, and then now we will convert the date pattern. So we really want the date time. So, imagine it as a very basic calculation. So you want a transaction that has happened to you on a specified date. How you will calculate the number of recency? You will calculate the number of recency by, if I am doing this today, I really want to make sure that the number of days or the number of duration should be less. So if a transaction has happened on 20th, that will have a 5 days lap, or when it happened on 15th, it will have 10 days lap. So this is how the calculation, that the more recent the transaction is, the more active the customer is with me, and the more monetary, the maximum monetary value, the maximum amount the customer is making the transaction with me in total. That means that is the worth of that customer, that the customer is giving to me. And the third is the frequency, the how many times I'm doing the transaction, that number will give me the frequency, how many times I'm doing the transaction. So after checking the head, we'll import the date time, and I think this will go smoothly. And if any problem comes, please let us know. Apart from that, then we will convert the date place column into the date time. So here we are really trying to figure out that we are converting this order date, that the column we have, into the date placed column, so that to calculate the recency. And that is the more you can do this analysis with your, so when you have a 30,000 customer data set, the machine learning and this model will give you the edge to perform it in a very precise, in a very precise manner, as well as in a very lesser time. So if you do it on Excel, or if you do it, so this is something when you have giant customer data sets. So that is where the machine learning or algorithms give you the edge to perform it in a very precise manner, rather even if you have thousands of customer details. Again, now in this column, what we are trying to do is that we are trying to build the RFM table. As we discussed, that we will be having a RFM value. So we are very much interested into the recency that will be calculated through date time and through the date place column, and then the frequency, how many times the transaction has been done, and the monetary value. So the maximum monetary value will be but we are trying to figure out the total monetary value and the frequency. So you will be easily able to proceed with it once your data has been read by the model, and then converting the time deltas to days, because that's how you are going to calculate that what is the recency value. So this is the RFM table that you will get. So you are getting the RFM value. So this is the recency, this is how the frequency, and this is the monetary value. Now what you want to do is, in order to do the segmentation, you can also find out for a particular customer name if you want to see that, okay, you are interested to see for a particular customer, you can see that. And now what you really are interested into it, that you want to make the quartile. So that is how you want to assign a particular RFM value, and you are going to say that these are the quartile of the customer which you say that are the excellent customer, and then you say these are the good customers, and then you say these are the bad customers. So this is the part where you are really assigning the quartile values, just to make it easier to do the further segmentation of the customers. So creating the RFM segmentation, you will be able to do it very smoothly. Just you have to make sure that you are processing it from the beginning. And then you are going to create the two classes that I said, that you are going to create the value for a dedicated quartile, so that you are able to assign the excellent and the good and the bad customers. So you are going to get it. So if you see in this table, as I discussed, that the recency, frequency, and monetary value you calculate, on the basis of that, the R quartile, F quartile, and M quartile are made. So for the higher frequency and higher recency and higher monetary value, you will get a quartile of 4, 4, 4. It is very simple, that where you do where you want to, segment your customers, you are really making a quartile value, and you say the highest RFM class will be the excellent customers. And accordingly, you will divide that the second lowest will be the good, and the lowest will be the bad customers for you. So as I proceed, This is how you are going to see the total RFM score and the class. So here, if you see that after the R quartile, F quartile, and M quartile, you have the RFM class, and you will have a total score. On the basis of this total score, now you can really attach. You can say that if the total score is equals to 12, then this is the excellent category, and if it is greater than or equal to 7, then that the customers are good, and relatively bad and is less than 3, then they are really you are not interested, or you can ignore that as well. So it really depends upon the fact that what categorization you want to give to your customers. And similarly, in this way, you are setting up the label for each client and adding the column label for the data frame. So if you see, if in the total I want to check that how many are the good customers, or count the frequency of a value occurs in the data frame column, we can see that good is 437, bad is 289, and excellent is 67. So this will build you the data set into the category that we assigned, that is the excellent, green, good. And you are just to give it's a glimpse, you are giving the color, the specified color. So this is how, if you see this previous data set, this is the customer data set I used to have, and that used to give me nothing, no valuable insight. But when I perform this with the model, I can now see that this customer is coming into the category of excellent. Similarly, this customer is coming to the category of bad, and apparently this customer is coming to the category of just good. So this is how you can really build the insight from your customer data set. And here's what you have to just implement: the CellStrat. You have to use the CellStrat platform to embed your customer data with this valuable insight. One thing you can also do is that you can export this file into the CSV that you are seeing here is the RFM. This whole file you can have. And the last, when you really represent into your team, or where you really represent before your managers, one thing you can do is that you can use a data visualization tool. Let's say the W public login. I'll just show you one example of a dashboard that I created. It is not on the basis of this data set, but that I created before for the RFM analysis. So this is how the more representative form you can build your dashboard for your research, your marketing team, or your team presentation. So this is something, the RSV, the CSV file that you will be able to extract from here. And this is the visual way you can represent, where you can see that these are the customers which are falling into the category of loyal customers, and then this is the category of potential loyalists, this is the category of about to sleep, and this is something that is more appropriate. So if you see this data set, this way of representing your customer data, and if you see there's a sample data, you will find a lot of valuable insight that you can make. So you can target this segment of customer for targeted marketing campaign, or targeting promotional schemes you want to give to this customer. This is the red part of your customers, where you really want to what you want to do is that you really want to retain them. You want to make this segment very less, and you want to make this segment very more. This is the whole aim of an organization team or a marketing team. So yes, I hope that this workshop has given you some useful ways. If anyone was having some problem in implementing this model, as I suppose that it is a very smooth process, please let me know, or please let us know in the message.
So Hani, very strictly speaking, this looks like a data analysis program, right? And yes, it doesn't use any classic ML algos,
No.
which is fine. So it is a data analytics program, am I right?
Yes. So this is the very basic version. So if we proceed into the AN churn prediction, the personality analysis, the customer lifetime value, that's where the more advanced way of predicting or making a model will come into the picture. So this is the very basic analysis that we could do. So proceeding this, we can also calculate the customer lifetime value, having a RFM score. So this is just a basic version of the advanced analysis.
Right. So, for example, from RFM score, I could regress or predict. I could predict the customer lifetime value. So there could be a
Yes,
regression modeling.
yes. So in the simultaneous customer lifetime model, we are using the RFM score as well in that model. So yes, those models are more advanced, are using more advanced form of logistic regression or more advanced form of SVM in machine learning models to make the prediction. But RFM analysis is much more. But the only edge we get with the marketing, with the machine learning, is the fact that now I'm able to handle the volume of data. So if you do this into some other way, it will require a lot of time, and might be the prediction or the analysis might not be that much accurate. But with the with the easyability of date frame modules or like that, you are really able to do it very quickly. So I'm seeing some questions. Can you please share the code, ma'am? I believe that the platform gives you the ability to use the code. Am I right?
You can technically download the code, just right click download. So that is very much possible, but the runtime is right there, so you can run it there itself.
Yes, and I would say that will be more appropriate because the models are really made fit to get fit into this CellStrat platform. So the feasibility is much higher with the CellStrat. Yes, Sanjay, please.
Yeah, as we all know, like there would be a huge volume of data. So going with the code, like understanding it's just a data analysis thing, particular this code, it can be extended with the machine learning model and other stuff. So like just a thought of question, like how this companies, like big companies like Amazon, where the data size would be too large, it would be a good volume of data. So how often they do this? Like what would be their pipeline? Do they run this on regular basis or?
Yes. They have a real time basis. More probably, more appropriately, I would say they have a real time dashboard that they have. So the moment they get a customers or they have a profilation of a customer, the moment you are making the transaction, they have a real time dashboard that is segmenting the customers and for making that falling the customer into different category. So I really don't have the access to say that what kind of dashboard or what kind of segmentation they have, but for sure they have a real-time dashboard where they're using it, they're pipelining the Tableau with their main data source, and the whole algorithm is working very simultaneously, very real time. So this is not something that in the advanced version, yes, you can frame a prediction model predicting a customer lifetime value, but the customer lifetime value is a very different metric. How might possible the dashboard will give you customer lifetime value, right? But the point is that the spectrum of how you are using one metric is very different. So RFM score gives me the flexibility to use it for marketing, for use it for promotional, for using for digital marketing as well. But when I say the customer lifetime value, it is a very specific metric. Might be the customer lifetime value, I am going to calculate that how much customer acquisition cost I invested into acquiring this customer and what kind of lifetime value the customer is giving to me. So the metric segmentation depends upon how much
critical the data is.
Critical the data is and how your dashboard is getting framed. So if I want to frame a dashboard including the customer lifetime value, including the personality analysis, I can make it on the Tableau. But the point is that how wider spectrum I'm looking at. So this was a very basic version that I wanted to introduce at the first go. So that is the reason I introduced the RFM analysis, and it is very applicative. It is very applicative, I've seen, because RFM score in this segmentation gives you a very precise way to look upon your customer data rather just looking at the vague part of your data.
Okay. So basically, this was just a data analysis thing. Later on, like when there's a need for a machine learning model, that model would be created and the data would be given runtime and it would be published on a real-time dashboard.
Yes.
Some kind of mechanism would be the pipeline would be there.
Yes. Surely, for sure.
Clear.
Anyone else? Thank you. Satyajit, I think.
Yeah. Actually, I have one question. As you were talking about this customer segmentation, so can we apply this RFM model to understand means why customers are churning from, let's say, any XYZ company. So does this RFM model also include this uh, explainability part?
See, when you see the RFM, when you apply the RFM model and you are seeing the last segment of your customer, that is the probable churn part of the customers, right? So those are the customers who are not buying to you very frequently, or who are buying very less amount, and who are not very recent as well. So the point is that, do you have the capability to invest to retain those customers, or your organization is able to overlook them and the part is very small, and you want to focus more upon the loyal category? So understand, again, I would say these are only the three categories I am segmenting my customers into. So it will not give you the metric where why your customer is not making the transaction. It is just giving you the metric that it is not making the frequent transaction. That you have to figure out. If you have a customer data, if I give you a, let's say, 10,000 customers, right? And if I ask you that these are the customers who are not satisfied, they are not making the transaction with the service, they are making very less frequent and very old customers. Now I give you the task that to figure out that what is the reason. So this is the second step of that, right? First step is that you identify that segment first, and then you try to find out that why they are doing it. So the churn prediction might help you to find out, but again, the churn prediction will not give you the psychological aspect regarding your product or service, that why they are skipping your. That need to be do both quantitatively and qualitatively. You need to find out that what are the might possible. So one example I will give you is that there was a customer coming to my website. There was a case that was given to me, and the website was having very high bounce rate, right? So the customers are really going without making the transaction, the customer were falling apart. So they make up the fact that why it is happening. So after a recent analysis, we figure out that the moment the customer goes to the page of bank, the moment the customer want to make the transaction, the bank page or the third party collaboration, the payment gateway was giving them the error. It was not very, the feasibility was not there. So we find out that that is the reason the customer are not making the transaction. So this has to be done with in-depth analysis. So I would say that once you figure out that part of your customers, you need to do further analysis to figure out that why now their customers is not satisfied or not giving you the transaction or making the transaction with you.
So what are the ways for further analysis? Means, for example, if my company wants to know why customers are churning, for example, whatever you explained, it was more of a descriptive, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, through descriptive analysis or maybe through some logistic regression, support vector machine, or something, any classifier you can apply for prediction and all. But the point is that, but we lack explainability for top management. I think they require why.
So the why part is morely when we taught in our marketing, there are, again, I will say there are two aspects, right? The quantitative will only give you the whatever descriptive, predicted and prescriptive analytics that would give. But the why, the qualitative part will only give you when you will real time, when you will interact with your customers. And there we have a lot of, like, for example, you are really giving the customers a call, or you are really calling them, or really you are interacting with them more personally to figure out that why they are not happy with the service or why they are not happy with your product. That is a more qualitative way to find out, where you really want to know that why your customer is not satisfied with your product. Might be the quality is the issue, might be the servicing is the issue, might be the after service is the issue. So you are seeing, so these are the parameters that you will only get when you will deep dive and do some kind of very targeted research on the part of the customers who are churning out. So you want to figure out that what metric, why your customer is churning out, rather it's a quality issue, rather it's a servicing issue, or it's a post service issue, post buying satisfaction. So I would say that is more kind of a qualitative research will more give you that edge to find out the why question, rather a quantitative research.
There are some related projects in our marketing pack, which I have put on chat. So some of them are related to this particular discussion.
So you can check out the personality analysis and the churn prediction if that's the parameter you are looking at. If that's the answer you want to give, that okay, this customer is not, it's churning out because of the fact that he's not financially viable to continue the subscription with me, or something, the reason might be this, or the quality is the issue. So these might be the issue that you can get through survey, but again, it's really that how in depth you are going through.
Actually, my question was aligned with this explainable AI. So I was just looking for that answer. For example, in Python also you can integrate different, explainable AI. I mean, line, SAP, integrated gradients, something like that. So I was looking for that answer. So that is a qualitative way to come up with whether why my customers are churning. So these are the way to, to quantify.
Yeah, might possible that.
Yeah.
Again, Satyajit, one thing that, in IIT, when we taught, when we have a whole structure of marketing module, one thing that we are very taught very precisely, that the data will never give you the psychological parameter of the customers. So it's always advisable to back up your quantitative analysis with some kind of qualitative analysis when you really want to figure out that why reason behind your customer. So that is my insight regarding this. Might possible that you are looking much more like predictive way, or some kind of quantitative ways to figure out that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Santu, if I'm pronouncing it right. Yeah. Santu Sadhu Khan. Yeah.
Hi, Ani. This is Santu calling from Fortis Hospital. I'm looking after the sales and marketing here.
Okay.
So, one sec, hold it. As I'm doing one capstone project on impact of digital marketing in the healthcare insurance program, like how RFM is help to my project to analyze that how much of a health insurance product is using earlier days by the customer to the corporate or other hospital, and what's right number, how could I use it? Like, I just want to use the RFM module in the capstone project. So can you help me out? Like, how shall I use this module in my project?
One thing I understand from your question, as the voice was breaking, is that you want to really figure out how you can use the RFM analysis.
RFM module in my project, as I was doing the project on impact of digital marketing in the health insurance product.
Okay, so in the
this is my project tagline.
Yeah, so in the health insurance, you really want to find out that you want to use RFM. So one thing is that right. So you have a data which gives you the details that what are the customers who are enrolled for the, or who have assigned for the insurance service.
Yeah, and lots of insurance companies are there. They're referring cases to the hospitals, different hospitals. But how could I calculate or find it? Like earlier days.
Okay, so if I see the so if I see the insurance data, and the insurance is something that the customers do one time, right? So the frequency here really don't make any relevance for me, because it's a long time subscription or a service that I'm opting for. So if I'm looking at the RFM analysis, the only thing that you can really get. So you really So the one thing that you can really find out valuable is from the monetary value. So I would say that you can ignore the recency, and you can see you can give the weightage to recency and the monetary value. And on the basis of that, you will be able to find out the patients that are more recently subscribing, or that are more recently coming for your insurance, and with how much value the insurance for, what is the monetary value they are making the insurance. So these are the only two parameters I'm seeing value input in here in this case, rather the frequency. So you can give the relative weightage to the recency and the monetary value, and you can proceed with the fact that you can give the categorization of excellent patients or the more appropriate patients or the people who are taking the insurance very recently and with high monetary value. So if a person has been recently has insurance of high monetary value, I would say that the
Yeah,
person is already,
I just want to show my project that earlier days the people are not much more thinking about the health insurance. Whenever
yeah.
they are looking for the any treatment, anything else, they are coming on the cash. But nowadays the people, most of the family, they are taking the health insurance for them also, and as well as for their parents also.
So
Okay,
you really
so
want to
that's
show a descriptive report showing this, that due to the pandemic, the people are now more getting
yeah,
into the
yeah.
insurance, right? So
And
yeah,
after
you can,
pandemic, the people are much more concentrated on the digitally in any
yeah.
sector, whatever healthcare, service sectors, or the any FMCG sectors, telecom sector, every sector they are looking for the digitally. I'm right now looking to the healthcare part, so that's why I'm just trying to take
So
advice
Santo,
from you that
you can reach out to Honey offline. She is very active on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Just with Honey on
So,
LinkedIn,
okay,
then you can have an extended discussion as a separate discussion, right? So,
yeah, that will be, I
so,
think I will more be able to understand that what
so
you are
because
really.
yeah, right now in interest of time, we'll have to move forward. Any
Yes.
other
okay,
question for
okay.
you?
No, no, thank you.
So yeah, I am not really seeing any other hand raise. I think we
Okay.
can conclude the session.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Honey. Excellent presentation and very
Uh,
clear on RFM analysis, useful for marketing. Thanks a lot.
yes. Thank you
And
so much. Thank you everyone for joining as well.